The 3rd of June this year, Friday, is the Feast of the Sacred Heart. It's the patronal feast of this parish. And it's the patronal feast of this parish because some Jesuits were very involved in the development of the devotion to the Sacred Heart in the 1670s. And the name that stands out is Saint Claude de la Colombière, a Jesuit who worked in Paris-le-Monial in France, where he was the spiritual director to St. Margaret Mary Alacoque, a visitation sister who had various visions of the Sacred Heart and received various messages about the devotion. In a parallel way, another French saint, John Eudes, was producing material for liturgical celebration of the Feast of the Sacred Heart, and these two things came together to develop this devotion. The Sacred Heart is on the Friday because the octave of Corpus Christi ends on the Thursday, and you couldn't have another feast within the octave, so it's the first available day after the octave of Corpus Christi. Interestingly, the three Gospels that are chosen for the Feast of the Sacred Heart for years A, B and C build a kind of a theological interpretation of what the Sacred Heart's about. The first Gospel, as we see in the icon here, is from Matthew chapter 11. "Come to me, all you who labour and are heavily burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon me, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light, and you will find rest for your souls." This kind of modern icon here, that's the words in Greek that we've just listened to, and they're very gentle words, but you wouldn't say that the figure of Jesus or the look of Jesus was particularly gentle here. At first sight you think, oh, it's a bit forbidding. But I think it's more to do with intensity rather than sort of being forbidding or stern. The intensity of this gentle message has to burst through our own kind of resistances. And in a sense, that's perhaps why we have the image of the Sacred Heart with the heart bursting through the flesh of the risen Jesus. The second of the Gospels that's used in year B is from the Gospel of John. "Out of his side poured water and blood." And it's that pouring out of the love of Christ for us that is emphasised very strongly in that choice of gospel, a pouring out that gathers us together as church. And gathering too is the message of the third gospel, which is the gospel of the finding of the lost sheep from Luke 15. The first gospel, "Come to me, all of you," is an invitation. The third gospel is a going out to restore the number to its original 100. That the Lord, with the intensity of his love, goes as far as he needs to be able to bring us back.